punked from the beginning of the game. I thought Florida State, hats off to them. They are a terrific team. They are a team that has a lot of answers at a lot of positions. They play extremely hard, and we weren't who we needed to be to start the game, and really weren't for the first 14, 15 minutes. So disappointing. We got a lot of growing up to do in order to match that type of intensity to compete at this at this level with some of the teams that we're playing. So got a lot of work to do.
Chris, you had two of your players came in and told us that they didn't think you were ready to play at the beginning of the game. And coming off a loss at Miami, I thought at the very least you would have thought they came out. They may not have executed well, but they would have been ready to play. What do you put your finger on? Do you agree with that for starters? Were they not ready to play at the start?
Yeah, I mean, put that on me. If you get down whatever you get down, Bob, then you're not ready to play. How that is, I have no idea. We fumble, we bumble the ball around the basket. We miss layups that we had created, and we set the tone in such a poor way, playing intimidated. And if you get bullied by Florida State early on, that's a problem. That's going to happen for 40 minutes. We responded, but we got down too deep of a hole.
Carlik and David said that the guys didn't follow the game plan nearly as well as they needed to. That a byproduct of that intimidation you're talking about?
I don't know. I mean, that's what you're going to get when you play Florida State. You're going to get awkwardness on the offensive end because you have to drive the ball. You have to be able to drive it. You have to be able to get in the lane, draw their help, have the toughness to deliver, whether it's a pass underneath, a spray out. You got to be able to play off closeouts, Bob. And, we got our shot blocked so early and often to begin the game that, that's one of those instances that the guys are talking about. We know they're going to play above the rim. We know they're going to flock to help. But yet we offer the ball up instead of spraying out or spraying down and shot faking and drawing fouls or finding teammates. So it's not our young guys' fault. It's my fault, because we couldn't execute what we wanted to until we were down however many points we were down.
Are they particularly, I mean, they're very good. There's no getting around that. But are they a particularly difficult matchup for your team? I mean, they're just their size, or is there something about them that makes it a hard matchup?
Well, I'd like to think with the guards that we have, we'd have the ability to get the ball in the lane. And I thought we did that, but again, not early and often, and we didn't set the right tone. The defense that we played was soft. We gave up way too many easy open jump shots. It doesn't take a whole lot of talent. Really, it takes no talent to sprint your ass back, to find your man, and get matched up and make it a 5-on-5 game. And whether we're young, inexperienced, intimidated, I don't know, but the shit needs to get corrected.
Let me ask you this. Last time they beat you kind of in the same manner, and then you won 10 games in a row. You mentioned before the Miami game, though, that you didn't think you were practicing very well. When this happened the last time, and then you went on that 10-game winning streak, was that team at least practicing the way you wanted them to, and then you got it on the track, or is it a similar situation?
Yeah, good question. Two things. Number one, we haven't been practicing poorly. We had a really poor practice before we went to Miami that showed that we didn't deserve to win the game at Miami. People can point to the actual game. We didn't earn it in practice. Our habits and how we got ready to play, we deserved what we got at Miami. It's a quick turnaround. We get back at 3:15 in the morning. That's no excuse, period. But we don't do a whole lot other than like watching film. talking through. We can't wear down guys that have played 36, 37 minutes and come off a 3:30 in the morning flight. Just, it ain't happening. But we didn't execute what we needed to execute. Now, last year's team is last year's team. They're dead and buried. And, they unfortunately didn't get the opportunity to play in the NCAA tournament like we all wanted. This year's team has a completely different personality. We have a lot of inexperienced guys that have never witnessed, high-level ACC competition until these last few games. And so we better learn from it.
Are they? I'm not saying they're bad guys. Don't get me wrong. But is this team harder to coach than last year's team?
No, they're just younger. They need more reps. They need more understanding that our team is going to win by doing little things and having energy. It's not going to just out-talent people. It's not going to walk out there and, we're not going to have a guy that hangs 30 on somebody. I mean, obviously, Carleek and David are very, very high level, our two best players, our two best guards. But, we have to all, including David and Carleek, value the little things that our team needs to do to win.
Thank you, Chris.
That's my fault. That's my fault because we obviously don't know that yet. We're going to figure it out.
Go to Tim first. Tim, you're
Chris,
muted.
last year is last year, but this is the exact same score that you lost by, and then you talked about being manhandled. Do you think that the problem here is physical, or is it beyond
that? Again, I can only go on this year's team. I can't remember last year's game. Certainly watched it in preparation, but we got thrown around. But, there were some things, Tim, that had nothing to do with physicality. It doesn't take any physicality to sprint back, find out who you're guarding, and communicate. And you don't do that when you're in high school. You don't do that when you're a freshman on a top 15 team a year ago that doesn't play. You got to do that now. And if you don't do it now, then Florida State's going to get wide open threes like they did in the first half. Our practices, need to be better. We need to develop habits quickly so that our guys could be a lot better on game night.
Thank you.
Pat.
Hey, Coach. Pat Jaggers, ESPN Louisville. In regards to the three-point shooting, a little bit better than the other night. Obviously, probably not where you want it to be, shooting 25%. But in regards to the three-point shooting, how much of it is just guys not knocking down open shots, or is it shot selection? Kind of what are you seeing when it comes to three-point shooting?
A lot of misses.
To Shannon.
The guys talked about needing to have an identity. How does this team create an identity? I mean, is it through getting more reps? Is it through more games? I mean, how do they really kind of bottle up what they did in the last 4 minutes of the first half?
Yeah, we have to figure out as a unit, Shannon, what our team needs to do in order to be successful. And, we didn't do those things to start the game. Our lack of urgency to begin the game, it's confounding. I know that, for a fan, you're like, what the hell is the problem? Why aren't we ready to play? And that's what our coaching staff is saying. And we're going to do everything that we can to fix the damn problem. But like when we come out and don't understand how to get in the lane, how to be strong with the basketball, and then get back on the defensive end and get matched up, that doesn't have anything to do with talent. That has everything to do with toughness and it being important to us. And we're going to have to figure that out. And if we don't, then we'll have more nights like tonight.
Tyler.
Chris, you've referenced a lot of intangibles such as toughness and such for guys to start making some of those harder plays to show out. How do you begin to challenge your guys to give more effort on those type of plays and search for that identity that your players referenced, that you mentioned post-game, that you guys are missing right now?
Yeah, I think that, reality is a great teacher. And the reality of it is we cannot walk out on the floor and out-talent teams. And so I'd like to think that we have guys that are willing to do what it takes in order to win. And as their coach, I'm telling you, that's what we need to do in order to win. And, we've got some guys that have to figure that out. We've got to be harder on our guys in practice. We have to demand more so that when we come out on game night, we don't perform like we did the first 16 minutes.
Going to take two more from Michael and then Gary.
Hey, Coach. Michael McCammon from Cardinal Authority. You've kind of accepted blame on a couple points that you've made here tonight. Is some of it because it is a young team, that there's so many fresh out of high school that maybe you feel like you have to go back to the basics and kind of teach them, hey, this is what you're supposed to do at both ends of the court, or what else needs to be done, I guess, to kind of get through some of these guys? Yeah,
that's a big part of it. Developing habits that didn't matter when they played at a lower level. And, for our guys, it does not say on their jersey, Louisville freshman, Louisville sophomore that didn't play a year ago, Louisville redshirt freshman, Louisville grad transfer. It just says Louisville. And, right now there are a lot of guys that have played in this program that did a heck of a lot more to earn those banners that you see in the Yum Center. And we're not giving the type of effort that those players deserve, those former players deserve. I mean, we have to figure it out. And that includes the coaches and the players.
Close it out with Gary.
Yeah. Chris, along that line, how do you look to your leaders, to your vets guys like Carleek and David to kind of gather the youngsters around and understand what happened? I mean, where do you kind of have expectations for them?
Yeah, it starts in practice. It starts in practice when your best players, I told Carleek this the other day, your best player can't ever have a bad practice. Your head coach can't have a bad practice. Point guards can't have a bad practice. And I don't mean necessarily, how you shot the ball. I'm talking about like being invested. And so for us, it starts right there. I do think that Dave and Carleek believe it's their team. And I think they've taken some steps, whether it's in huddles, whether it's in practice, to be those type of leaders. But we need more. We need more, and we need more response from our followers. And we need to make the situation in practice harder so that when they get in the games, we can perform better.
Coach, thank you. And media, thanks for joining us. That'll close us out for